All right, let me share my screen here and get us going. Welcome everyone. Um, let's take a moment here and just kind of center ourselves, specifically me, because I think I'm again running in 12 different directions this morning. So welcome to CPW, our December meeting. It is so wonderful to see all of your faces. Let's just take a moment and take a deep breath and just kind of center ourselves, get in the moment and be present with all of our beautiful sisters that are online. And we have more joining us. All right. So, Miss Karen, would you like to tell us about your wonderful organization, your vision and mission, and what you're here to accomplish?
Of course, it's something very small, change the world, right? Like all of us, something very small. No, we love creating community of like-minded people that are inspired to help one another. Our vision is to inspire the dreams into action that we have so we can change the world. And we mean that quite literally. If we help St. Louis become known as a city that has massive change, positive change, we feel like it can ripple. Our mission is to inspire the action and give voice and clarity to dreams, because many of us have a dream. And if we can't put it into words, we're not going to be able to enjoin others for helping you with it. And what we have found is there's a ripple effect. There are so many cool stories of our community where they have been able to positively impact our social and economic well-being of St. Louis here. And we have our what we call our value system. It's to love more, judge less. Positive possibilities. Positivity is contagious, as is negativity. We choose to focus on what's positive. Heart smart, connections and collaboration, paying it forward, networking, which is really trying to make sure people make a connection if we have one for them. Energetic empathy. Sometimes we're listening, but we're not listening with our heart. And when you listen with empathy, you can make stronger connections. Empowering language. We believe in trying to let go of the words like but and never and won't work, and substitute them for we can, we will do it. And the last one that's not listed is a strength-based community. We are really about the Gallup organization's theory, and what they have proven is that when we live from our strengths, we live stronger lives and we can help our community even more. This next slide is in memory of one of my girlfriends, Karen Garcia, that was part of the original Gateway to Dreams brainstorms. She passed away of cancer 2 years ago in June, but Karen was part of a group that we helped bring Catherine Ryan Hyde to St. Louis. She wrote the book, Pay It Forward, that was made into a movie. And so we're about random acts of kindness and paying kindness forward. And Lone Orange, we referred to this earlier. This would not, we don't even know if Gateway would exist without Tiffany. When COVID hit and we could no longer meet face to face, I desperately reached out to the only person I knew that was super informed on Zoom, and it was Tiffany. And she said yes, and now she's actually become an important part of our community here. And for anyone that needs help, she is a brainiac with technology and with marketing. Am I still supposed to be talking, or is it back to Missy? I'm running my mouth. I don't know.
It's you. We're talking about sponsorships now.
Okay. Anyone can be a sponsor. We've had a big sponsorship with American Family. They have joined the Gateway to Dreams community because they believe in dreams, if you watch their commercials. But someone that might want to be a sponsor for 2022, let us know. This month, Joy of Goals. Well, actually, we're going to go ahead and recognize Dawn Berry is our contact with American Family. But what did we say we were doing, Tiffany? Was it the Joy of Goals?
Joy of Goals. Yeah, Joy of Goals.
Joy of Goals will happen on January 29th, and we also want to invite all of you to that. That is our one day where you get to be in the space of what are your real dreams, what are your real intentions for your life, and how can we support you. And we have a website, joyofgoalsinstitute.com, I believe it is. Okay, now I get to let go.
And now you get to let go, Karen.
Missy and Tiffany, yay.
So we are moving into our getting to know you part of our meeting today, and this is where you'll get to network in a room with a few others. I'm not quite sure how many we're going to have in a room today, but usually we're 3 to 4. And what we are going to do is you'll have an opportunity, 60 seconds, to share about you, what you're doing, what you're looking for. And just for instance, if you want, take a picture of what is up on the screen so you can remember what we're sharing. And Tiffany will do you put all the things in the chat for everybody, Tiffany?
No, so the way we'll do it is, so I put the text of the script in the chat. There's also a PDF if you want to grab that and download that, or you can just take a picture with your phone of what's up on the screen, just so you have the script. Once I put you into the groups, and we'll have 3 to 4 people in the groups, I'm going to give you 6 minutes total. So when you get in the group, I need somebody to be the timekeeper. It makes it easier if you're just monitoring your own time. And then everybody will get 1 minute to give their introduction. I know it's fast. I know there's a lot to share. There's a lot on the script. So you have to talk fast and you have to be brief. And it's really important for us to observe that 1 minute, because in order to make sure to give everybody a chance. It kind of breaks my heart when we get back in here and somebody says, I didn't get a chance to share. So you as a group need to kind of work together to make sure everybody gets their time. I will give you a minute warning, and then you'll have, when I actually hit the button to close it, you actually technically get another minute. So, and then that'll whisk you right back in here and cut you off wherever you're at. So any questions before we do that?
This isn't a question, but Catherine Frazier says it keeps asking for the passcode.
Is she trying to dial in maybe?
I don't know. She might be out of.
Well, let me get the rooms going, and yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna text you something else.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Sorry,
All right.
guys. This is technology at its best and worst.
And here we go. And just for everybody's sake, just so you know, the Zoom link stays the same from meeting to meeting, so you can actually save it in your calendar and have it forever, hopefully.
Yeah, that's
All
what
right.
we need to teach
Here you
people
go.
to do.
All right.
Oh, shit. Join.
Karen, oh yeah, okay. Missy, do you want to go ahead and go into a room?
Not particularly at the moment.
Let me.
Would that be okay?
Yeah, I just need to rearrange.
Oh.
And Shalonda, you don't want to go into a room, I'm guessing? Who's the other Karen Hoffman?
All right, welcome back, everyone. Let's see, is everybody able to still see my screen?
No.
No? Okay, hold on, let me share. Let's see. Okay, Karen, We are turning this back over to you to tell us about Dream Tank, which we don't have one this month, but
Right. For anyone that would like to, every month we work to host a Dream Tank, 1 month for a for-profit and 1 month for a nonprofit. And what it is, it's just a little mini brainstorm where someone shares something that their nonprofit needs or that their business needs. And then we brainstorm what are the resources that can connect you. And if you'd like to be a Dream Tank in 2022, wow, that sounds weird to say, 2022, reach out and we can schedule you for the coming year. Yay.
Yes. All right, so now we move into the fun part of things. We have our educational speaker today, which is Brandy Shear. She is the CEO of Shear Resources, and she is going to be sharing with us today. And I do apologize, Brandy. Your bio got lost in the shuffle of things, so I did not get that into our agenda. But
Do you want me to read it?
if you have it, yes, please.
Okay, so I'm really pleased to connect you all to Brandy Shear, one of my girlfriends. In fact, the woman behind Gateway to Dream, Susie Tozier, connected us. She's a native St. Louisan. She's got an interesting and diverse background that has enabled her to become one of St. Louis's super connectors. She began her career in marketing and public relations with one of the largest, most well-respected communication agencies in the world, Fleishman Hilliard. From there, she focused her energies writing for and later moving into leadership positions with several local publications, businesses, and organizations, including the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, Ladue News, St. Louis Design Magazine, Senior Olympics, ZAC Companies, the Department of Defense's Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve, SCI Engineering, and Construction News and Review. Today, as CEO of Shear Resources, Brandy connects people, businesses, and resources to help clients find solutions and develop beneficial relationships that last a lifetime. Sounds like she's already part of Gateway to Dreams, guys. She is passionate about supporting the STEM movement and leadership development skills for young adults as they work diligently to build full and meaningful careers and a future for all of us. She focuses her energies on helping small to mid-sized businesses succeed and believes in social equity, diversity, and that helping others daily is the way we can ultimately make the world a better place. Thank you, Brandy, for sharing your brilliance with us this morning.
Thank you. I don't know if it's brilliance, but I'm happy to share what I have to offer with all of you today, and I'm very pleased to be here. So, do I need to just go ahead and share my screen now to do the PowerPoint?
Yes, that'd be perfect.
I can do that. Okay, so let's start with our topic. The concurrent slide. There we go. I can get this going. I'm not sure why it's not. Okay. Okay, here we go. So today we're going to talk about the concept of that you can have it both ways. And I'm going to apply it to growth and profitability for your business and how that comes about through marketing, business development, and collaboration. But there's a lot of other parts to the phrase and why I chose you can have it both ways. Because I think we're taught all the time that, you know, you can have it all, or you can only do this, or you can only do that. And I think it's about changing your frame of reference. It's about changing your mindset in order to accomplish being able to do both things that you want to accomplish and in this scope, grow your business while also making money at it. Those things don't always grow hand in hand, especially in the beginning cycles of companies. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit today. So we're going to go through growth. What is growth? What is profitability? What is marketing? And what is business development? And how does all of that tie together so that you can eventually do what we all want to do, have a great company, having it grow, and ultimately making money. So, whoops, having it both ways. Oh, I would like to ask the group, and please, anyone, what does that mean to the people on the group? What does having it both ways mean to you? Does anyone want to address that?
I would.
Okay.
From my business point is not only to be able to serve people and to provide a free service for them, but also for the organization to build capital so that they can be able to function without the need of grants and funding.
Right. And we know that those two things are always kind of they're always at each other's throat, because you want to give and do and be there for more people, but you can't do it without the funding. So that's always a challenge. That's a good example. Anybody else? What does it mean to you to have it both ways?
When I hear the term, without knowing the context, it makes me think I can have a life and have a business both ways. So.
And that's exactly what I was hoping somebody would bring up, because I think so many of us, and depending on the background and where you come from, mine has been, very corporate life. And I have figured out the fact that I spent a lot of my time not having it both ways. I spent a lot of my time where I was having to choose and having to push myself to either be all work or, all play. And you don't really get that choice a lot. So I got to a point where I figured I really wanted to, one of the things I didn't share was that I'm a cancer survivor. And when you go through something like that, it does help you put in perspective the fact that you only get one life. So having it both ways is meaning that you can have a life and you can be, especially in a business setting, successful. It's not even an option. You want to be able to figure that out. So those are great inputs. Anybody have anything else before I move on? Okay, so we talked about the mindset of this. We are always told you can't have it, but the yes you can is very symbolic by what you're seeing on the screen right now. If we think of ourselves inside of a box and we think of ourselves as either going only one way or the other, it is kind of clear that it appears anyway that you cannot have it both ways. But if you look at the circular motion, and this is part of the reason I chose circles for my logo, is that yes, you can, because if you follow the concept of the arrow and you look at the fact that the circles are all intertwined and connected, you can go one way in some situations and go back around to the other way and complete the circles. And so I think we have to start thinking about it in more of that connective and circular fashion, instead of it just being black and white, this or that, one way or the other. And the minute you start thinking about it that way, then you can start changing the way that you function. You can start changing the way that things are working for you, and you can move forward to actually get it both ways. So what does this apply? How does this apply to business? And we're going to talk about two things that in theory go together, but don't always come together. And that's growth and profitability. So from the growth standpoint, let's define growth. And I certainly by no means want to come across as talking down to anybody, but I think just because there's lots of different definitions to things and people think of them different ways, I'd like to start with definitions just as a starting point. So I'm going to, for today's purposes, define growth as the process of improving someone's measure of their enterprise's success. And on paper, what that means is the top line or your revenue line of the business is increasing because you're either selling more of your greater product or your service. And that the income coming from that is going up. But that is very different from revenue. And we needed to always remember that just because we have revenue coming in, it doesn't necessarily equate to our bottom line. So for the purposes of our conversation today, revenue is the total amount of income generated by the sale of goods and services related to your business. In other words, the total amount of money coming in is your revenue, okay? But that does not directly correlate with income, because we know that income has more elements to it. And what we want to ultimately do is increase that income, right? Revenue is great, but if we're not increasing income, then that is not the end game. So that's where profitability comes in. And that's why I say they don't always go hand in hand. You can have a business that is selling things, that is making money in terms of the volume of what's going out there. But if the business isn't run correctly, if the business isn't got the right percentages, if the business doesn't have the balance of what's coming in versus going out and has extra expenses, then we get into profitability. And so profitability is increasing your bottom line by minimizing costs. And it's the actual financial gain of what you are taking out of the business. So this isn't the top number. This is that number at the end, that when you subtract all of your expenses and you subtract all of that, again, I don't want to preach to the choir because I'm sure you all know that we want to get to that net income. So profitability is based off of net income, and that's your total earnings or your profit. And so that's what whether it's investors or whether that's people who are looking at your business to see how successful it is and you want it to grow and be successful, those two terminologies basically come down to income. So how do we go about producing more income is what we really want to do. Obviously, we have to go back and yes, we have to get profitability. We have to have growth, right? So growth is all about a couple of different things: marketing and business development. From the marketing standpoint, I'm going to define marketing for today's purposes as the action or business of promoting and selling products or services, including the market research and advertising. So when I say marketing, what's the first thing that comes to mind for most of you when you hear the term marketing? Anyone?
Advertising, promotions.
Lone
Okay.
orange.
Very nice thing. That's awesome.
And branding. I mean, it's the branding of your business.
Okay. Well, one of the things I wanted to point out in this is that the market research is also very often left out of that mix, and people don't think about that. Market research is not, is actually a very important element. You have to know the market you're going into. You have to know your competition. You have to know. So marketing is a bigger animal than just the branding and just your advertising and just your website. So really, really important that you understand that, because that is where some of the complexities come in when you have both marketing and business development trying to work together, but their goals don't always, while they sound like they should appear and be the same, they aren't. So the actual purpose of our marketing is this: to get qualified leads. And a qualified lead is somebody who is actually someone who's a pretty darn good chance you're going to do business with you. And then those leads turn to sales and revenue. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get really great leads, right? And we have all these strategies to do that. So we have organic, we have channel marketing, vertical marketing, event marketing, customer relationships, advertising, community engagement. There's and this is just a handful of the different aspects of it. These are the things that we're most familiar with in terms of strategies. Well, the people who are involved on the marketing side of things, again, their goal is to get the messaging out, to tell your story and to get it out to as many people as possible so that when they are approached, they are ready and primed to hear your message and get to be basically sold to, okay? So how does that differ from what is business development? Before I go any further, what would you guys define business development as?
I define business development as my plan that my strategic plan, I would say.
Okay. What else? What other things come to mind when you hear the words business development, or someone says, "Hey, I'm in business development"? What does that mean?
You talking to me?
I'm sorry.
Were you talking to me? I'm sorry.
Oh, I just meant in general. Anyone?
Where your business development, where you're going to grow, where you're going to be at in 5 years, 10 years, a plan.
Okay. Well, a lot
And
of
how it's
people-
going to happen.
and how it's going to happen. Well, a lot of people, when they hear business development, they think of this, which is one component of business development. And I put that on there today just so you can see the concept. And for those of you who are old enough, although I think I'm not speaking to, a lot of the younger people, there used to be a commercial when I was growing up that talked about a shampoo, and she was shampooing her hair and she said, and I told two friends, and so on and so on and so on, and they showed the force multiplier. And the graphic I have up here is essentially what I wanted to show you. So the main foundation, while business development, and we are going to talk about, is more than this. This is the element that fights very often with our marketing efforts, because while somebody is trying to do all of this on a regular basis and feeding this information and getting these people out, marketing is trying to reach new people, but the follow-up and the coordination of those two efforts often falls short. In fact, most of the time falls short. So we have a marketing team doing all of our business development team, whether that's just the owners or whether that's a team, looking for all kinds of initiatives and activities that are going to help make their businesses better. And that increases, those are all about increasing revenues, growing and expanding your business in multiple different ways. And that could be through relationships, but it can also be through acquisitions. It could be through, a number of combined programs. Obviously increasing profitability, building strategic partnerships, which are really key for everybody in this group, is to find those right strategic partners, and making strategic business decisions, which gets back to your overall idea of your strategic plan. But how do we bring this all together, and why is it often a problem? Well, when we put together a marketing plan, we know that we have to do all of these things. We have to have a website, we have to have our business cards, we have to do all of the collateral material, and we have to also put together a campaign. So we're out there on Facebook, and we are out there on LinkedIn, and we're putting all of this good content and all of this marketing materials out there all the time. From the business development role, when we go back to the idea of this, whoops, oh, I went too fast, sorry. This. So people who are charged with business development are leading business development. This is what they will spend most of their time doing, is connecting the dots and meeting new people. And every single time they do that, then they need to follow that information up with marketing. And that marketing has to be very specifically tailored to those individuals. So there's always a constant battle between, do we do marketing for the general population, or do we do marketing that is very specified to individuals? Time-wise and investment-wise, that can be overwhelming, especially if you're trying to do it all yourself. And that's one of the biggest problems that I see small businesses doing, is they're trying to do a combination of all of this as a one-man band. And the bottom line is, the secret to having it both ways, to having it all, is to bring on and incorporate partners to do the things that they do best, so that you can continue to do the things that you do best. And to also look at your business as a whole, as opposed to constantly darting in and out one direction or the other direction at any given time. I as a solopreneur, I am the pot calling the kettle black, because I am always trying to, I've got to do my accounting, I've got to do my marketing, I've got to go out there and do things like this, I've got to meet with clients. We are all trying to do those, and that forces us to pick a lane every time. It forces us to go into one direction or the other direction, and then that does not seem like we can ever get things done or go both directions. But the secret, and where I'm going to, is in order to do this, you have to coordinate and cooperate all those efforts. And you can do that both with the strategic planning side of things. So if you're doing events and you're attending events, and you do preparation ahead of time so that you have the right materials to go to those events, you're going to be far more effective than if you go to an event and somebody brings you back a stack of cards and say, okay, now we got to get materials out and send it to all these people. And then the flip side is true too. If you're out there marketing to a ton of people, but nobody's doing follow-up, let's say you do a direct mail campaign and you send it out to 60 businesses that you want to do business with. If nobody's calling those businesses to follow up, no matter how great that direct marketing piece is, you are losing momentum, and it's a waste of your time and your money. So the biggest part of being successful is those two elements. One, figuring out how to combine them and put them together strategically. And two, also figuring out who you need to bring on in terms of partnerships and or outsourcing. And that's really kind of where it comes in. What do you do best? What do you need to spend your time on in your business to accomplish what the greatest goals are? Whoops, sorry, I put a timer on. So I would stay within my time limit. What do you need to focus your efforts on and is a good use of your time? And what isn't a good use of your time? You know, if you're not a computer expert and you want to sit here and spend hours trying to learn how to build a website, probably not the best use of your time when you could hire someone. And it sounds very expensive up front, but when you can divert your attentions to doing the other types of things that are going to help grow your business while you're paying someone to do that, that makes a lot more sense. If your area of expertise is not, if you don't know how to scale your business, for instance, going back to our friend, you know that you've been doing this a long time yourself, but you want to grow, but you're scared because you have to hire somebody and you don't know how to do that and you need a system, then you need to talk to someone who has a system. Because that's going to help you with that. And just like Tracy said, you can't be everywhere doing everything all the time. So hiring someone like Tracy to represent you out there at your networking events to get so that you have representation, so that someone's telling your story at those things, but also bringing that information back to you. That's a critically important component. And she's handling that business development aspect for a company. And yet that boss can still go out there. And if it's in her case, a construction person or whatever, they're still out there managing their jobs. They're still out there going out after new business or building new relationships. They're not necessarily doing it with the same core people that are in their inner circle for their networking. So all of these things coming together is basically behind, you can be the very best person you are at every single thing you do. But if you do not pull in the right people and you do not allocate your time to doing what you need to be doing versus what you don't need to be doing, then you are stuck in choosing always go this way or that way. But as soon as you bring in the correct partners, and whether that's a paid partnership or whether that's someone you work with on a, an internal person, bringing them in full-time, or whether that's in most cases for small businesses, the much better way to go is to work with the right consultants, because that way you can pay for what you need. I mean, that's the whole foundation of my business. Pay me to do what you need me to do and let me do it for you. And then when you're done, you don't have me on staff. You haven't bought me a computer. You haven't paid for my insurance. You haven't done all these other things that you have to do if you bring in an internal person. And you're not stuck with me for the next 5 years because you may not need me for 5 years. And quite frankly, if you don't need me, I don't really want to be in your organization for 5 years either, because I'm not going to be happy. And then that is a culture issue, which is that's another discussion for another day. But ultimately, that's really what I wanted to bring to you all this morning. You can have it all, not all, but you can have it both ways. You just have to think about it a little bit differently. And I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has.
Yes, thank you so much, Brandy. And ladies, like Brandy said, this is your opportunity to ask any questions you may have over the amazing information that Brandy shared with us this morning. So ask away.
I have a comment. For 2022, one of the things that we're doing with Gateway is we are using the Gallup Strength Finder, because we really want our members to be able to use their strengths to build their businesses the best way possible. We'll be using it with our volunteers. So you were right on target with our gifts, our talents, our passions. That's what we should be utilizing, not the things that we struggle with. They burn our energy up. Karen, did you have your hand raised, Karen Messler? No? Yes? Okay.
And
Anybody?
this is my contact information for anybody who needs it. I wanted to make sure that you guys had that. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm very, very easy to find. Karen will tell you. And if you can't find me, then call Karen. She's got all my information, or it's right here.
And Susie's on the call, and I didn't know that, but Susie's the one that helped spark having Gateway to Dreams and introduced me to Brandy.
Well, Susie is an inspiration in every single day. I've never met a person who smiles more than Susie, and she brings light and joy into all of our lives. And I'm very glad that she brought us together. So thank you for that, Susie.
Michelle, see Susie?
I know. I was so excited to see you on the call this morning.
We've missed you. We've missed you.
I know. How awesome.
So
I do have a question for Brandy
yes. Mhm.
since I'm unmuted. So I get, I mean, we hear these things all the time, Brandy, but if the financial, I mean, not that we don't, I mean, I've attended a lot of this kind of thing and trying to figure out the best strategy and the best way to go. But I'm kind of in a kind of a regrowth
Okay.
of my life. Okay. So I went through divorce, and of course, you know, when you're rebuilding your personal life and then you're trying to drive a professional
Right.
life, the two shall meet. It doesn't matter how you try to avoid it, they meet. Okay. One impacts the other and vice versa. So when the assets aren't there, you know, necessarily to hire, because I know what my strength, I mean, I'm going to do the strength finders. I was telling Karen, I was given a book on, it's the strength finders, but it's a leadership model. And so I need to still take that, by the way, Karen. But my question is, how do you even plan towards it? So if you know and you want to, so technology is not my thing.
Sure.
And for instance, I just booked an appointment. I have a Calendly link on my website. The person went out there and booked 15 minutes and it came to me apparently, but I either didn't see it or I don't know. I wanted to I want it to come where I know that I've got it, right? Not
Right.
buried in an email or something. I don't know.
So let me address that on a broad scale, because I think that is an excellent question. And that's where you talk about, so someone like, I mean, on your call, you have a couple of resources, myself, Tiffany, even Karen. Strategic planning for a business is your first most important part of what you can do. And that involves this is the very, very first thing. What are your goals? What are your accomplishments? And what are your resources that you currently have? What money do you have available to invest in your business? Because there's going to be fixed costs. You got to get a computer. You got to get a this. You got to get a that. And you can figure those out very easily. And then you have to figure out, after you get the absolute necessary things that you must buy, for lack of a better term, the hardware, so to speak, what is the software that you need to make your business run? And that's why, so for my sake, and I can only say that I will meet with clients and I will do a 6-month proposal for $1,000, a 6-month plan. That is where I start, because my goal was always to start with small to mid-sized businesses and help them get on track. If you cannot afford $1,000 to help get yourself organized and help you figure out what direction you want to go, you probably need to think twice about if you're really actually ready to start your business. That should be an investment that is kind of a no-brainer, if you ask me, because you're asking someone to look at the holistic view and to offer you guidance on exactly what you asked. Let's talk about what are you good at? What can you do? What can't you do? And then let's go out and figure out who the best fit for you is in terms of filling those gaps, filling your skills gaps, filling your needs. There are people who will do your accounting for instance, that are going to charge you astronomical fees. And then there are people who are similar to some of the people in this group, who are moms at home who are looking for a second income, who might be the right fit for you because they are not looking to build an entire business and they don't have overhead and they don't have staff and they don't have insurance. So all they want to do is make an hourly fee to do that. So let's help you if that's what you need, but you still need the service. Or maybe you need something a little bit more advanced than that. Let's help you find the right thing. That's what the right business consultant can do for you. But again, even in that, you can have someone who's going to charge you astronomical fees, hourly fees that go out on forever without clarity. My biggest advice to you is that whatever you decide to do in terms of getting someone who can give you some guidance, is make sure you have accountability of what it is that they're going to offer you. You need to know, what is it you're going to offer me as a business consultant, and what is it going to cost me? I don't want to know what an hourly rate is. If anyone's trying to just charge you hourly, you're probably with the wrong person, because that person is going to just keep going and going and going, and you're going to talk to them, and it's like a lawyer. You know, you pick up you pick up the phone, you call a lawyer, you talk, you have 3 questions, and you're charged for a full hour. That's ridiculous. You know,
I
so
work for them, so I.
Ladies, I would love to let you keep going, but we need to be mindful of time and make sure we give Shalonda ample time to share as well. So if you can connect via the chat, that would be wonderful.
And if anyone has any other questions, you're welcome to just reach out to me on LinkedIn and shoot them to me.
Yes.
Thank you,
All right. Well,
Brandy.
thank you again, Brandy. So we
I
are
love you.
moving on to our personal story for this month, Miss Shalonda Third Kill. Shalonda was a young mother who had a support system that was helpful in the care of her daughters, Jessica and Jamanda. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Against the odds of being a single mother, she successfully unified her family of 4 together under one roof. Her children's education and career successes proved that unifying her family was the best maternal decision she made for her children. Shalonda has a special relationship with God, which became evident on April 10th, 2021, when she was informed her son, Ahmad, murdered her daughter, Jamanda. His sister, in the presence of her grandson, is it Jaheim? I hope I'm pronouncing Jaheim. Thank you. Despite her grief, despite the public opinion, Shalonda did not lose her faith in God, but received his strength to turn her tragedy into triumph. In 2022, Shalonda Third Kill will be having a book release on Jamanda's Love, a mother's story about the loss of 2 beloved children. She will also launch Jamanda's Love nonprofit organization to bring awareness about adolescents with mental illness and to build a platform for families who share the loss of a child by the hands of their sibling. Ms. Third Kill believes that God is using her to encourage other mothers to overcome the stigma from having children that murdered their siblings. Welcome, Shalonda, and I'm sure this is going to be a very powerful share today.
Good morning, ladies.
Morning.
Thank you, Karen, for inviting me. Can you guys hear me or see me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't even know where to start. Well, yes. Losing my daughter the way that I lost her, by the hands of my son, Ahmad. He's my only son, and he's the youngest. Jamanda and Ahmad were very close. Out of the 3 sisters that Ahmad had, she was the one that was always there for him in every single way. Ahmad was diagnosed at the early age of 9 with emotional disturbance. And throughout the years, as he got older, his behavior had gotten more aggressive, and he became extremely defiant. At that time, I didn't have any resources, so I would talk to his counselors, and I would try my best to, do activities with him. We sit down and talk. We always played games, everything like that. And it became very stressful as he got older. We did family therapy, all of those things. And Ahmad was always big for his age. So that made him, a little bit more aggressive towards me. and at school, the behavior issues. And Jamanda, she was like his second mother, you know, picking him up after she graduated from school. She graduated from Holt. She was in band and Stuco and all of those things. She went on to travel. She was in the A+ program. She had her associates, her bachelor's, and then she received her master's, working full-time while doing this. She had her son, my grandson, Jaheem. I think she was 26 when she had him. And he was just the joy of our lives, you know. And what hurts the most is that he was there when this happened. And it's just a tragic, you know. This is my first time doing this, so you guys have to excuse me. But I went through a great deal of grief, and the only way that I could really deal with it is getting on Facebook and doing my coping videos, because my mind was going so fast that I had to get everything out. And, you know, some of it is just real and raw, and some of it may be too vulgar for some people, but I'm just expressing how I feel and what I'm going through and how I was treated. But basically, no support from my family other than my cousin Mia. She's been there. She was on the scene when I got there, which the accident or the crime happened down North City, St. Louis, in my daughter's home. And I live in Lake St. Louis and work in O'Fallon. So that was a long drive for me. And Mia was there for me, you know, and helped me calm down, because she had also lost her daughter with a hit and run some years back. So again, I went to Facebook to do my coping because I didn't receive any support from my family, my two sisters, because my mother, she passed away last year, April the 15th, and Jamanda was murdered this year, April the 10th. So it's very difficult that I have lost both children, one to the prison system and one to the grave. And now we have this, you know, he's now 4, Jaheem, caught in the middle. Jamanda's father and my oldest daughter, I do not have a relationship with them. And they, you know, went behind my back and got guardianship. So therefore, I haven't seen my grandson in 2 months now. So I'm coping with that as well. However, I decided to write a book, and I am currently working on that. It's been a halt right now because I'm working very hard at work, which is called Jamanda's Love, because she was such a darling. Anybody who met her, she always had this glow, this smile, and she loved peace, and she just loved to help anybody. You know, she just loved everybody. And I want to share my story as well as her story, so that people can understand, you know, when you have a sibling that's dealing with mental illness, you have to be aware. You have to know the how to deal with certain situations. a lot of times we like to throw it off, or he or she is just acting this way or that way, but there's some underlining there. And we have to pay attention. And we sometimes get confused or say, well, my brother or my sister don't have a problem or issue, or they're just acting out, when there's really something really going on. A lot of people don't want to admit that their child is dealing with some issues, and they just let it get out of control. But it's okay. When I did receive the help, I went every resource that I ever came across, me and my son went to. I did everything that I possibly could to help him. But when you have someone who's highly intelligent, very aggressive, and also manipulative, it's extremely hard to cope with that, because they know how to turn that switch on and off. Yet it's still a mental illness there, and it grows as they get older. And usually in males, I guess around 17-ish, that's when the schizophrenia kicks in, and they begin to hear voices. And you really have to pay attention to that. So when you're dealing with a sibling, they're not taking it as serious, because that's their brother or their sister. So they're not looking at their sibling as someone who's mentally ill. Okay. It's all about, they just need some help, or they just need this. Sometimes with my son, I can speak for, he was very defiant and violent. Okay. So when you have that, you cannot hesitate to get the help. That means that you need to know if he's in high school or grade school, whatever, all the counselors' names and numbers, his psychiatrist's name and number. You have to have all of these names and numbers on hand. Okay. When you have that on hand, do not hesitate to call and receive the help. Okay. Especially if that child is violent. With my case and my children, Jamanda just saw Ahmad as her brother. Okay. And he stabbed her over 30 some times. Most of it in her head. Cut her from ear to both sides, and then cut her throat. And she laid there for hours. So I can only imagine the torture that my grandson went through. I want to shed light on that, because mental illness is real. And when you have a sibling, you have to understand that you can't do this alone. And when the first sign that you see of violence, you must remove yourself, either remove that person or remove yourself, especially if you have a child with you. You have to remove yourself from that, because it can lead to what happened to my daughter. And now I'm just coping with that. I want to also speak with parents, because I learned that there are a few parents that are dealing with their children assaulting their sibling, murdering their sibling, some of them even murdering their parents. And it is something going on that is triggering our children. And we cannot ignore it. We can't continue to ignore that there is something going on that's very serious. I don't want this to happen to anyone else. This is a painful situation, because I never would imagine, it never crossed my mind, because they were like so close, you know, and for that to happen, I don't wish this on anyone, you know, and now my grandson is being taken advantage of, being used as a tool. And I'm dealing with that as well, because I've been in his life since he was born. So I appreciate Karen. She was also there at my daughter's funeral. I've been knowing her for over 19 years now. And I just want to thank you for inviting me. I'm new to all of this. And my cousin Mia, she is also helping me write my book. And I greatly appreciate that, because to be honest with you, outside of her, that's my blood family. She's like, as far as family, is my only true support system. So, you know, I appreciate you, Karen, for constantly reaching out to me and being patient with me, because I'm at a point right now where I'm just kind of slowly shutting down, because I'm angry at all my children right now. You know, I'm angry at Jamanda for not listening to me and allowing her brother back into her home. I'm angry at Ahmad for murdering his sister. I'm angry at my oldest daughter, Jessica, for using my grandson, going behind my back with her dad and getting guardianship and just intentionally excluding me. I'm going through an angry moment right now. I know that it'll pass, and I know that eventually I'll get back on course to writing, and telling my story and sharing the love of Jamanda, and shedding light on mental illness, because it is real. It is nothing to play with, and it's nothing to be ashamed of at all. So I appreciate you all giving me this opportunity. I apologize for stumbling over my words, but this is a very emotional.
Shalonda,
Yeah.
no apologies. As Shalonda stated, we've known each other for a long time. A caring mother, a daughter who loved her brother so much, she went into the mental health field, in part because she wanted to help people like her little brother. And then there are people that feel like Shalonda shouldn't love her son anymore because he murdered her sister. How can you not love your child? When they do something wrong, we still love them. I would love for our community, and Shalonda, I want to tell you, we've had other people where we were their first safe place to share their story. We need a safe place to talk, and this community is one of the safest I've ever seen for loving people right where they are, and no judging, just loving. And I don't know what we can do. Yes, at the funeral, Shalonda used her heart and strength and said to me and Kathy Lambert, she wants some good to come out of this. How does something good come out of something like this? Well, she has the strength now today to share this story. And one of the things that I have learned from doing the magazine Be the Change, and even for myself, I've shared with a few of you, I've gone through mental health issues the last 2 years, where I'm now on an antidepressant, and I didn't really understand and still don't a lot about mental illness. But a lot of people in St. Louis and across our world are hurting, and they have mental illness, or mental, as one of my friends calls it, brain disorders, instead of, the stigma of mental illness, brain disorders. And if you have a broken arm or you have a heart attack, those are things that we can talk about freely. When I found out I was suffering from depression, I was ashamed that I wasn't strong enough to not be depressed. Taking pain pills thought like, that's a weakness. And I know with a lot of mental illness, when people feel well, they go off of their meds. And I
Yes.
don't know if Jamal did that, but I know that a lot of people do. And that's when many crises occur. So Shalonda, I want to applaud you for being able to share your story
Yeah.
with us, with a caring community. And I don't know what we can do to support you, but when the book is out, we would love to have you back to share that. And we have the Write Your Book right now, once a month on Thursdays that Jenny Grace and Shelley Perdia lead. But does anyone have a question, a thought, or a comment to make to Strong Shalonda?
I'd like to know if there's anything in particular that anybody, even on this group, or a resource that we could direct to you or to help you in any way. Is there some specific area that we could be of assistance to you in?
I only thing I really wanted was, because I'm really concerned about my grandson, his emotional state, because he is the only child and he's not in a good environment right now. And it just seems like there's no end. I did speak with a lawyer, and he just basically told me that my oldest daughter has guardianship of him, and it's up to the guardian if they can reject me even having visitations, So it's just up in the air right now, And I didn't receive anything. They just literally intentionally kept me out of it all. Her and her dad.
Is it partly over the money that you get because the child will receive money? Is it money related?
Probably that too, because one of my friends, her husband, some years ago, he was in a passenger in a drunken drive hit, whatever, and she had called me, and what is it? It's called the crime victims, something like that, where they help the family of victims and things like that. I did call. However, I didn't fill out the application because I wasn't taking Jaheem to therapy. Like I said, it was a lot of confusion that night that my daughter was murdered. And I was like one of the last family members on the scene because I live so far away. And it was just, I wouldn't do anyone the way that I was treated by my family. I wouldn't do that to anyone, that they used this baby. And they received the money. I gave the application to Jamanda's dad, and my daughter, Jessica was like, she lost it because she was filling it out. So I gave her mine. However, they did receive some money, and Jessica gave some of it to my youngest daughter, cash. I never asked for anything, but it's not about the money with me. It's about him being nurtured the right way. Jessica has 3 sons already, and Jaheem is an only child. His home setting, my home setting is just like his home setting was. And I know for a fact that he's not getting the attention, the love that he needs right now. And they're treating it as, oh, well, his mom just died, so he has to get on with life. No, he witnessed his mother murder. And he told me, Gigi, my Uncle Mai killed my mama. He's very intuitive. So that's just my whole concern. And it just seems like I'm at a losing battle with that. And I know I have faith, but when you're going through some things like such as this, you know, and there's a baby involved, and I know the whole situation, it's bothersome.
So I believe in the power of prayer. I
Yeah.
believe that we all can make a difference. In fact, we will be singing a song. We are responsible in just a moment. Pookie Lee is going to join us. Tiffany, if you
Okay.
would watch for her. But I would ask that each of us say a prayer for the beautiful little boy that needs his grandma.
Yeah.
So
Karen, remember that attorney that you had speak probably 3 years ago, that she had a whole bunch of people, she had a similar situation where somebody was murdered, her brother or somebody. Do you remember that girl? It rings a
Karen,
bell, doesn't it?
it does. I'm not remembering
Was
though,
it
right?
was it Gray? Was her last name Gray?
Julia Gray?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't Julia. It
Mm.
was a girl, she lived out in the country, I think.
Yeah,
And
Deb, she was in the Dreams book, wasn't she? Deb Porto, real thin, skinny
real
gal that had been
thin.
abused.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
that's her.
Oh,
What-
wait a minute. Yeah,
Yeah.
her
But she's an attorney now.
yeah, she's
herself.
in Florida. She lives in Florida now.
Oh, she lives in Florida, but maybe she could still be of assistance to Shalonda.
You know, I'm also going to ask Julia Gray, because Julia is
Oh, yeah.
And
Julia would be great.
I thought Dr. Marty Casey, because her whole program is about removing the trauma bullets. And so if he can walk through, I have walked through that program with her, because I'm all about, I want to experience all of your businesses so that I can then market them to others, you know, kind of what Brandy spoke on today. If I don't experience your services, how can I sell it to my friends or be top of mind? So she does a really great job, Shalonda, of walking through
Shalonda,
that.
Marty actually offered to reach out, Shalonda. I don't remember how, but you were, I don't know if we were on a call together or what, but for your grandson, if we could get him with her at his age, I wonder really, because she witnessed her brother shooting someone right outside of their home, killing him, and her mission, and she's global now, helping people ungun trauma. That's a beautiful idea and thought. We do need to go ahead and make sure that we're off at 10:30 so everybody can get back. But the prayers for Shalonda and the bravery for speaking your story today. And for those of us that know that there is a stigma for mental illness, it's real, it's real. And we need to find ways to help more people. There's some comments, Shalonda, in the chat room. There's the Lean Law Firm. There's someone there that Tiffany recommends, and there's other comments from other people in the chat room. Okay, so this part of the program is where if you've had a positive experience with Gateway to Dreams or it's impacted your life, if you would share that, if you would just share that, and actually, I'm just kind of just thinking too much about you, Shalonda, right now. But, I think all of us are, with love.
Thank you, Karen.
I think that's a perfect testimonial, Karen. Just in how this group supports one another, and you know, I think that says it all right there.
Yeah, there's so much love in this Zoom room. Seriously, I mean, you can feel the love, the support that Gateway to Dreams brings us. So I am so happy. That's what I get out of Gateway to Dreams, is I love you all so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so back to you, Missy.
All right. I thought you wanted to talk about your fabulous board.
I do have a fabulous board.
Well, these are the dynamic women that are behind and beside our fearless director of Gateway to Dreams. We have Deborah Leanne Morley, Debbie Josendell, Dr. Marty K. Casey. Oh God, I can't see. Hold on.
Don Berry,
Tracy
Tracy.
Lambert, Tracy Flay, and Don Berry, who is the newest member to the board. So we thank all of them. We have a host of volunteers that also assist in keeping this amazing group going, and all of the subgroups that are part of Gateway to Dreams. And we have amazing volunteer opportunities for anybody that wishes to be a part of the group. You can reach out to Karen, to myself, or Heidi. So we thank you for all of that. And here is the best way to support this amazing group. And here is the link to donate. Your donations go to continuing the programs that we provide, which is CPW, Joy of Goals, and Write Your Book Right Now. And donations also go on to help with the operating costs and just continuing to grow the current programs, hopefully bringing some new programs. I'm sure Karen has got a ton of ideas that she would like to do. So let's continue.
And we also, just to let everybody know, the Chesterfield Mall extended our lease for another year. So we are not moving until at least December 2023. So that is beautiful news for us.
Awesome. Awesome.
Really good.
So our closing quote today, which I think is very appropriate. I never know what we're going to really be talking about, but dreams are like stars. You may never touch them, but if you follow them, they will lead you to your destiny. And I think that is very true. And I just want to thank all of you for joining us today. We are going to end. I saw Bob and Pookie get on, and we get to hear Pookie today sing her song. So
let's, for people that don't know what's coming next, each month we sing I Am Responsible. And Shalonda, I think your whole talk was about you feeling responsible for your grandson. But all of us in this world, if we all took responsibility instead of pointing fingers and saying everybody else is wrong, or you know, what can we do to make a difference? Pookie's song in 2014, when I heard it, it affected my heart. We invited her to sing it at Gateway, I'm sorry, at CPW. Real early one morning, I felt like God said, have Pookie there. So Pookie, before we sing it, do you and Bob have anything you want to say? And you missed our call, but Shalonda lost her daughter to actually she was murdered by her younger brother, which is heartbreaking. So she's lost 2 children and basically also access to her grandchild. But you were on to talk about or sing about being responsible. Do you have anything you would like to share?
Oh, you know, I just want to say thank you, Karen, you know, for being my champion. And when you heard this song really spoke to you in a deep way. And you've been someone that's really helped me take the song all over the world. It's been sung on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., in Israel, and all of these beautiful places. This song is a part, you know, of the message that I've come, you know, to share with the world in my short time on this beautiful planet. And you know, it's what we're all about here. We're all about how is it that we can be of service to those that are before us, right? And what is it? How can we take responsibility for the world that we're living in, you know, and how can we be better stewards, and how can we show up in a much more responsible, loving, kind, compassionate way? So
you and
yes.
Bob, we have the duo. We have the like it's like star time here. The stars are here. And you're gonna sing it. We're not gonna listen to the recording, correct?
Yeah, no, I'm
Oh,
gonna sing it.
no.
We're gonna sing
Hey,
it.
we got, and we
Real-
get Bob. We get Bob and Pookie
Live in
to
real
go-
time.
Bob
Yeah,
too.
I see a
and
lot of
for-
familiar faces and friends in the Zoom room
Yeah. Oh,
today.
look at those big smiles. Hi, Susie. Love you. Love you.
Oh my God.
So good
Yeah.
to see you, Michelle,
And
Karen,
for those
Shalonda.
that don't know, Bob is a musician in his own right and a prolific writer and has a huge following on is it YouTube or
On
your own
YouTube,
channel? Yeah, so he's a celebrity among other artists. So
St. Louis grown.
yes,
He's a St. Louis success story.
We love everything about St. Louis. Okay, we'll turn
Ready
it
to
over
hear
to you guys.
Personally,
And what Tiffany says usually is keep your how do you say it, Tiffany? We were
Keep
not going to
yourself
hear you.
muted because Zoom
gonna
only
be
likes one microphone at a time. So we'll let Pookie and Bob have the mic today. So everybody else mute. But I still want to see your lips moving that you're singing.
So the words of the song are here for all of us.
There you go.
Here we go.
I am responsible. I am responsible. I am responsible to leave the world a better place. I said I am responsible. I am responsible. I am responsible to leave the world a better place. Looking around the world, and what do I see? So many things in a state of need, pain and suffering all around me. I won't stand by and just let this be, 'cause I am responsible. I am responsible. I am responsible to leave the world a better place. Everywhere, everyone wants to be free. Some look around and say, it's not me. How can they close their eyes and not see? It all comes down to me. Why? Because I am responsible. I am responsible. I am responsible to leave the world a better place. I said I am responsible. I am responsible. I am responsible to leave the world a better place. I'm reliable, accountable, dependable, invincible. I'm capable, incredible, responsible. I'm reliable, accountable, dependable, invincible. I'm capable, incredible, responsible. 'Cause I am responsible. I am responsible. I am responsible to leave the world a better place.
Sing along now.
I am responsible. I am responsible. I am responsible to leave the world a better place. To leave the world a better place. To leave the world a better place. Oh yeah, we're gonna leave this world a better place. Yeah, yeah. You know, and I just want to say, as the last meeting of the year 2021, I want to congratulate all of you for the dynamic work that you're doing here in St. Louis, our beloved city, the love capital of the world. And so I just want to offer deep bows of deep gratitude for all of the hearts that you're reaching and all of the transformation that you're initiating and the activation of the purity of your hearts as we move forward in this dynamic time of grand transformation. So it it is an honor to be here before each one of you, knowing that which you carry in your heart and how you walk this world in such a deep commitment to love, compassion, and connection. And so thank you, thank you, thank you for loving people and for loving St. Louis so much to do the work that you are doing. This is our time. It's our time to shine. It's our time to be responsible. It's our time to connect with one another, like these connections are sacred and holy, and recognize what you each bring to the table that is so profound. And without you, your magic is not given into this holy circle, this beautiful, dynamic, powerful wisdom council. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for all that you do tirelessly throughout every day of every year. And I'm so happy to be able to celebrate this last closing celebration of CPW in December. So it is our honor to be here before all of you. You're our heroes. You're our heroes. You really are. Look at you. You're heroes. You're our heroes. The world is such a better place because of you. Thank you.
Thank you guys all for being here. See you in the new year, if not before. Bye.